Hello again, everybody. I'm Snapper Lancaster, welcoming you to another edition of the Central Alabama High School Sports Show. And yes, tonight is the first night of our spring shows. We finished out the fall by recognizing 2 high school championship teams last week. This week we started into our spring sports, and of course we'll be talking about baseball, and we'll have softball coach on tonight, and the other sports that we'll be covering during the spring, along with baseball and softball. You also have soccer, golf, tennis, boys and girls, and outdoor track. So there are a lot of coaches, a lot of athletes we hope to be able to recognize in the next few weeks. And as always, come playoff time in the spring sports, we definitely expect a lot of the Birmingham-Jefferson County teams to be in those. And talking about teams that might be in the mix, the guests that we've got tonight have outstanding programs in baseball and softball. And you would expect maybe come playoff time, they may be in the hunt for a state title as well. It's always interesting to talk to the different coaches, because even in high school athletics, you have coaches moving from high school to high school for a varied number of reasons, but that way we get to visit with new coaches from different schools and old friends that have been at the same high school for many years. Once again, we're entering into our spring segment. The next few weeks, we look forward to visiting with those coaches and athletes, and hope you do too. We're going to take a quick break. We come back, our first guest of the night. Don't you go away. We'll be right back.
You know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. Oh, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
Good driver discount, multi-car discount, good student discount. Helping you save money on car insurance is just part of the service you get from State Farm agent Jack Traffinstead. Whether an accident or a simple question, Jack and his staff get you the help you need. And that's the value only a State Farm agent can provide. Call Jack Traffinstead today. 40 million drivers already know nobody gives more discounts to more drivers than State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors, a company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their number one objective. And folks, welcome back. In our first segment, as we talked about in the opening, we're going to be visiting with an outstanding softball coach, and of course we're talking about Lexi Stroud of the Hoover Bucks. Lexi, good to see you.
Thank you.
I know this is my first time to meet you, and first of all, we'll talk about your background a little bit and what has led you to be the head softball coach there at Hoover.
Well, I played college softball at Campbell University in North Carolina. From there, I decided that I wanted to get my master's, so I went to Lipscomb University and ended up coaching there for 6 years. My husband also coaches baseball, and so that's kind of what brought us to Alabama. And you know, I met with Coach Urban and Coach Miles at the time, and I felt like it was a great fit, and they offered me a job this summer. So.
Well, good. Now, I've got to ask this question. Where'd your husband end up coaching?
He is at Samford University.
Really? Okay, with Casey?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, having that behind us, one question I would ask you is you already talked a little bit about college coaching already. So what's the major difference in the college and high school?
I think the level of play of the girls, just the competitiveness of it, pitching, you have a lot better pitchers, you have a lot better hitters. It's kind of like the pond gets a little bit smaller and the fish get a little bit bigger at the college level.
Well, now this is your second year?
This is my second year at Hoover. Yes, sir.
And of course, last year y'all had a pretty good team.
Yeah, we did pretty well. We were competitive.
And so this year, did we expect to get to the next level, you know, to be a serious contender for maybe a state title?
Oh, I sure hope so. We have a great group of girls back this year. I knew that we would be more competitive this year than we were last year. We have some great young talent and some great returners who have the experience of being at that next level in those games.
The one thing that's always amazed me about softball in particular, and here especially in the last few years, is the number of games that you girls get in. And one of the reasons of that, of course, a lot of people wonder because there's not that many area games, but you can play a few or quite a few games, and a lot of it dictates one, I guess, the number of tournaments you compete in. Because it would make common sense if you're good enough to play deep into a tournament, you're going to be playing more games. But having coached at the college level and the high school level, does it look like to you that the more they play, the better they get, or is there such a thing as overplaying them in the number of games they play?
I think the more you play, the more endurance that you get as a player and as a team, and that helps you, you know, go into those tournaments and play till the final game. I also think that having depth as a pitching staff has helped us a lot this year. I know at the college level, you know, most staffs have anywhere from 3 to 4 pitchers, and so they don't rely on that ace for every game. They can, you know, switch in and out, and I think that has helped us a lot this year, is having 2 girls that can throw, that can start any game for me.
And I tell you something else that impresses me too, that one of the most important aspects, and I'll enter baseball into that argument as well, is pitching. And the more pitchers you have, like you said, versatility when it comes to pitching, if you've got 2 or 3 what we'd call aces, you're loaded, sort of.
Yes.
Because I do know that there are, and you've probably been involved in situations like that where there have been teams that don't have but 1 or 2 that can pitch very well, some just 1. And I've seen young ladies in particular, it looks like, gosh, they're wearing this pitcher out. But not that many teams, whether it be college or high school, really have a whole lot of pitching depth, do they? I mean, you've got maybe 1 or 2 that are super good at it, and they have to do the majority of the pitching.
Yeah, we're very fortunate this year to have 2 that I can rely on, both of them. If one's struggling one game, I can bring in the other one, and vice versa. And I think last year that kind of hurt us, not having the depth in our pitching staff.
Well, now, have your young ladies figured out, and I'm talking about the girls that are playing, that the better pitcher they have, probably the better chance they have to win a softball game, because pitching is like, no matter what sport, whether it's Major League Baseball, college or high school baseball or softball, that good defense, and we'll call pitching on the defensive side, wins ball games. In other words, if your pitchers can keep the score down, you have a chance to win almost every one of them, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, pitching is really at a premium in this state, and I tell our pitchers that if we can keep a team to 3 runs or less, we can win a ball game, because I feel like our offense can score us more than 3 runs.
Well, now, correct me if I'm wrong, is it the top 2 teams, or when y'all's tournaments start, do all 4 go into?
For area, it's the top 2.
Yeah, okay. So you've got to, at least as you're playing during the season, you know you got to end up 1 or 2, or it's no tournament, right?
Well, we do games throughout the year for seeding, and then we play our area tournament, and then the top 2 teams from the area tournament go into regionals.
Okay, so all 4 get to play in that first round.
Yes, get to play in the area tournament.
But then the top 2 advance.
Go to regionals,
and then work your way out from there.
Yes.
Well, at this point in the season, and in a lot of the sports, there's what we call peaks and valleys. But when you're playing like you girls are playing, I mean, you ain't got to go out there and preach, hey, we're down in this area and that area. It looks like y'all have been pretty high across the board. And I'll ask you, like I ask the players a lot of times, in your opinion, is your team's best softball still ahead of them?
You know, we always say it's not about how well you play at the beginning, it's how well you play at the end. And, you know, I think we've played very well here at the beginning, but watching our girls playing games and at practice, I know there's still a lot of work that we need to do. So we're still trying to reach that. I mean, we've had some games where we've struggled, whether it was offensively or defensively, and sometimes we've won by the skin of our teeth.
Right.
But, you know, I think Coach Eubanks and I, you know, we're just working hard and pushing the girls and keeping that expectation high for them.
Or are you one of these coaches that think your team becomes better by playing tougher opponents? That you can lose a ball game, but still, if you've played a good opponent, you can gain positive out of it. First thing, of course, is if you're girls, and I'm sure they feel this way, being Hoover with their athletic program, you don't want to lose to start with. That's not the nature there at Hoover, and I understand it, and I respect it. And but the thing about it, it's like we talk about, sometimes those tough losses, you feel bad afterwards, but you don't have to feel so bad if somebody better than you beat you. You played the best you can. You just know you got to play a little bit better. And I think a lot of time that spurs the team along, and the coach hopes it does as well. And I know as we finish this segment out here, a coach always hopes that their team is peaking at the right time. But see, in your case, what you've got to make sure is that the girls keep playing at this same level, right?
And continue to get better.
And so going into your second year, you feel like, well, we've improved from year one. We're in a better position this year, and now it's just to go finish the job, right? Well, listen, awfully nice to meet you.
Yes, you
and
too.
I look forward to seeing you down the road again sometime, and wish you the best of luck
Thank
here
you.
in this second season. Folks, we'll take a quick break. We're going to have 3 young athletes that are responsible or help be responsible for the outstanding season Hoover has had thus far. We'll be right back.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors. A company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their #1 objective.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
And folks, welcome back in this segment. As you can tell, I got 3 outstanding young ladies who happen to be pretty good softball players. The reason I can tell you they are 17-2 right now. That's not bad. Why'd y'all lose those 2 games? No, I'm just kidding. But sitting closest to me, Abby Grace Prater, a senior. You're a pitcher.
Yes, sir.
And you're going to be going to Spring Hill College,
Yes,
correct?
sir.
And Shelby Lowry, a senior, second baseman. You're going to go to Montevallo, right?
Yes, sir.
And then Abby Teaser, and you're an 11th grader?
Yes, sir.
And you're going to go to Auburn. You're committed to Auburn, and hopefully one day that's going to work out. Well, that's terrific. Well, girls, going into this season, you had a pretty good season last year, but did you win the tournament?
No.
No. So that was the goal this year, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. With that thought in mind, Abby Grace, do you think you and your teammates have worked hard enough and are playing as well as you can play, or is your best softball still to be played?
We're doing pretty good, but I still think we have room to grow and improve to get to the state tournament in May.
Well, I know I've talked to the coach about this just a second ago, and we talked about the fact that some of the competition you played, And I know some of it's been tough competition, maybe some of the others been a little less competition, but what I want to know is what team do you look forward to playing each year? Who is your biggest rival?
That's hard.
It is. Y'all, you got that many rivals? Everybody.
I mean,
like
we are
playing Spain
Hoover.
Park.
Yeah,
I like playing Spain Park.
Do you? Because that's sort of like a kissing cousin, right? But you want to slap them around when you're playing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now, Shelby, we talked about the success that your team has had. You had a good season last season. So coming into this season, what were your expectations, one, for yourself, and two, for you and your teammates?
Well, for myself, I really want to grow as an athlete for the next level, and for my teammates, I always set the bar really high, and you know, I expect everyone to just do their best at every practice, and yeah.
Well, Abby Grace, I'm going to ask you this question as well. One of the key elements that a team can have is team chemistry. Now, if the team chemistry is good, then not only will you become the best you can be, but your teammates will become the best they can be as well. But if the chemistry is not, sometimes it can disrupt the team, and it can sure help you be less than the best you can be. Talk about the chemistry on y'all's team.
I think it's pretty good this year. I mean, like, when you get a group of 15 high school girls together, you're going to have bickering and stuff. But I think we keep it in the locker room for the most part, and we just, when we get on the field, we're there to play. We just don't think about anything going on.
Well, Abby, a question that I found that interesting, one was the fact that you do one of the hardest jobs, a catcher. And secondly, as a junior, you're already verbally committed to Auburn. Now, is softball the only sport you've ever played?
I played volleyball in middle school. But
Oh, really?
I had to stop once.
Now, you've stopped for a couple of reasons. One, I would think is because you're a pretty good softball player and probably a very good catcher. Did you participate, and I guess you do, play on travel softball team?
Yes.
Because it amazes me the amount of games that you'll play. But as Coach and I were talking about, sometimes more games is better because all you're doing is just honing your skill, if you will. Now, being a catcher, I got to ask you this question. What's the strongest part of your game, hitting, or are you a better defensive catcher? Or pretty good at both?
To me, it's always been hitting. I have like a motto or some sort, and it's like hitting comes and goes, and your defense should always be solid. So I consider my defensive game probably better. Not that I'm saying I'll never make an error. I'm sure it did.
Well, you know, here's the deal, and the coach and I were talking about this, and it's strange that you said it like that. As long as you and your teammates, pitcher and your other teammates, are keeping the other team scoreless or 1 or 2 runs, y'all got a chance to win every ball game. So you're absolutely right. Defense, I don't care what sport it is, defense wins games. Because as long as your offense, as long as your team is in every game, that's all you can ask for, really. Now, I'll ask you the same question about who you played. Who's the team you've enjoyed lining up against more than anybody else?
Who we've already played?
That y'all play, yeah. Not who you already played. Who do you look forward to really competing against? Is there a team you enjoy on the schedule more than another that you want to beat more?
Really want to beat Oak Mountain this year.
Yeah, Oak Mountain's pretty good at softball too, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Okay, when the girls, I can tell from talking to you and what the record indicates, y'all are pretty good. You're pretty good softball players. So I'd like to know a little bit about you away from the softball diamond. Now, the first question that I would ask that you're going to get a pretty good answer. Sometimes softball and baseball players are superstitious, or sometimes you have talent that I don't know about, like maybe you might play the piano. You may never touch one in your life. That's just an example. Or maybe you are a great singer in the shower. When that shower's going on, boy, we can knock it out. When that water stops, we sound like, gone. No, that's not going to work. But just something that I might find interesting, a hobby or whatever. And Abby Grace, we'll start with you. What would it be?
I mean, I guess I am a good singer when I'm in the shower.
Really?
I like to think I am. My mom always makes fun of me when I get out.
Well, is yours a rockin' or smooth country?
I like to jam to Hannah Montana.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well, bless your
High School
heart.
Musical.
I bet that shower's using more water than the cat's got a liver pill. Your mama's glad to hear that shower stop. Okay, Shelby, how about you?
Well, I think I am pretty good at, so are my teammates at hacky sack.
Yes.
We're really good hacky sackers.
Really?
We could be a team.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
now for people out there that don't know what a hacky sack is, just explain to the audience, please.
Well, it's like a little mesh ball, and you can't use your hands, you just use your body to kind of pass it around.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that's got to be exciting.
Yeah. It is.
Girls I can see talking it around, but no passing. Okay, that's cute. Abby, how about you?
I play the guitar.
Oh, do you?
That's something.
Really? Do you play to a classical beat, or you like rock and roll, or?
More alt rock, singer-songwriter.
Really? Okay. Okay. Well, a little more about you personally, and especially we start with you, Abby Grace. When you go to school, what are the type of subjects you're going to be looking to take?
I'm planning to major in health sciences, so more towards like physical therapy.
Okay.
So probably a lot of sciences like anatomy and stuff.
So,
and then
some
maths.
type of medical field, maybe?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How about you, Shelby?
I'm kind of the same way. I really want to major in kinesiology and then go to medical school after.
Okie dokie. Well, now, Abby, you're not a senior, but you've got any idea what lies down the road?
Kind of the same thing.
Well, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, there's a new pre-med track at Auburn that I'm looking into. It's like nutrition science.
Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what, that's a field you can't go wrong in, but right now the field that y'all are doing all right in is that softball now. The last question I've got, and it's been awfully nice meeting you girls, is to this point in your young lives, who's been the most inspirational person or persons? And we'll start with you, Abby Grace.
I definitely think it would be my dad.
Okay, so Dad sort of pushed you, but in a positive way?
Yes, he lives, eats, and breathes softball.
Oh, okay, well that's a good pusher to have. Okay.
I've got to say my parents, because I mean they support all the crazy softball things that we do. So.
Okay. How about you, Abby?
My parents definitely. They're at every game. They're super duper supportive and.
Well, I tell you what, that's what they're supposed to be, but they got 3 super duper young ladies to support. So listen, good luck to y'all. The only thing that I will say to you, I hope you haven't played your best softball yet, okay? Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank
Folks,
you.
we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, another coach and some more athletes. Don't you go away.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Ted Townley in Homewood today.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And folks, welcome back. We just finished talking with the Hoover softball coach and some of their players. Now we're going to the other community. That's the Vestavia Rebels. And of course, we've got their baseball team. Coach Jamie Harris with us. Coach, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
And as we start the interview, tell us a little bit about your background and what has led you to be the head baseball coach there at Vestavia.
Well, I grew up in Vestavia. Went to Vestavia and played for Coach Dunn, finishing in '96. So we were the first team to three-peat at Vestavia, and from there went and played college baseball at Sanford University, and I actually got my first job coaching baseball with Coach Dunn's son over at Spain Park, Casey. He brought me over there and coached there for about 7-8 years, and found my way back home to Vestavia. So.
Well, good. Now, I was talking with your players there, and they were talking about the fact that all of them have been playing under you. And tell me what the difference is on dealing with these guys as an assistant coach and as a head coach.
Well, your relationship definitely changes a little bit when you're the head coach versus an assistant. It's a little bit different being in charge for me, obviously. A lot more, making a lot more decisions than I've had to ever make before. But I feel like we got a good relationship with all the guys, but it definitely changes when you're the guy that's talking in front of them every day.
Now, talk about your team a little bit from the makeup and your philosophy. Are you one of these coaches that are you trying to build an offensive team? And I have to understand, of course, we're dealing with the kids, whatever they are, whoever they are, whether they can play defense, offense, or whatever. But what is your philosophy? What do you want to be the stronger suit, if you will, of your team? And, of course, you don't like to have any weaknesses, but you don't understand what I'm talking about.
Pitching and defense. No hesitation answering that. Pitching and defense. It's something we're going to pride ourselves on building our team around every year. If you came out to a practice of ours, we spend probably 75 to 80% of our practice time on defense. Hitting's going to come and go. Kids are going to hit on their own, whether you hit them or not. But pitching and defense is what's going to win ball games for the most part, and definitely what's going to win ball games in the playoffs.
Well, now I know, I'm going to just throw this in just for a little bit. I have a grandson that's a freshman at Hewitt, so I got to see Vestavia's freshman team play Hewitt a couple of weeks ago, and boy, it was an exciting ball game. It was one of those where I couldn't lose. Either my grandson won or Vestavia won, so I couldn't lose from that standpoint. But I was talking about this with the softball coach, and I want to get your perspective on it, and I think I understand where it is already. In baseball, as in any other sports, it's almost like defense wins your ball games. If you can keep a baseball, if you got a good pitching staff, you keep the other team scoreless or 1 or 2 runs a game, you got a pretty good chance to win ball games. Yeah. So when you build your team like that, then you also got to hope that it's got that offensive side. Talk about the makeup of this year's team.
Well, like I said, we're going to build our team around pitching and defense. We had 2 or 3 forearms back that had a lot of experience last year. We have a catcher that we have with us today that had a lot of experience the last 2 years. But pretty much our lineup, aside from 1 or 2 guys, was brand new. Really? We got a lot of seniors, but not a lot of kids that had a lot of playing time.
Right.
So it's kind of been a work in progress trying to figure out what that lineup's going to be. It's a little bit of a moving target, or whatever you want to say. It's a revolving door. We have different lineups just about every game. We hadn't settled on one lineup, but everybody that we've asked to play stepped up and played.
Well, I guess it's almost like one of those lineups. As long as you're producing, or you stay hot, or if you maybe have a game or 2 where you're not, you're going to plug in to see if another person can pick up the slack, or whatever. So from that standpoint, I was going to say, you haven't had any peaks and valleys yet in this season. Well, it don't sound like.
They're coming.
Well, you hope they don't. They may. But here's the thing about it is sometimes it's tougher when the team is playing as well as yours is. Mm-hmm. You've got to somehow, this is your job. You got to make sure they realize don't let down, because you can always run into somebody hotter or whatever.
That's right.
And how much do you preach to your team? Is your game mental with them too? Because mental plays a big part in it.
Well, we definitely preach that a lot. Physical mistakes are going to happen. Mental mistakes can't happen. But back to the point of what you said, there are going to be peaks and valleys. And what we've tried to preach to our kids is we're not going to judge our successes and our failures based on the scoreboard. Win, lose, or draw, we either played right or we didn't play the game right. And so, like you said, so far we've had a little bit of success, but Success for us is not always tied into what's on the scoreboard.
Yeah, well, the one thing that I would ask you too, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but are you responsible for y'all's schedule?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A lot of the schedule was made before I became the head coach. We're kind of late to the party on that.
Right.
But yes, sir, we are responsible.
Are you one of these coaches that you believe that your team grows from losing to a good team as well as, say, beating a team that might not be as good as yours? You beat them pretty good. You can feel real good about yourself. But sometimes, and you can attest to this, I'm sure some of the best lessons we learn are from losing. It's easy to be a winner.
Right.
So then how do you approach that? And you hadn't had to do it much yet.
Right.
But that's the biggest lesson I would try to teach a youngster. You can learn from losing.
Right. I think there's probably a balance. I think we have a very difficult schedule so far, and it's going to continue all year long. With that being said, it's good to have that competition, but it's also good to create a habit of winning. Good, whether it's good competition or bad competition. Let me tell you something, you're not going to find much bad competition in Birmingham, especially in 6 and 7A baseball. Everybody we play can beat us. There's no doubt about that. So, like I said, we're just trying to create a habit of winning, and playing the game the right way.
Well, and I guess this is what most coaches do. From the beginning of the season, the whole objective is to improve and be the best you can be come playoff time.
That's right.
And that's where sometimes the peaks and valleys are helpful because you can work through them. Then other times, if you're lucky and your team is good enough and plays to their capability, and that's another important thing. If your guys are that good, you're not going to have many valleys. But it's because they've done two things. They have great talent, but it also takes exceptional coaching.
Well, that's right. One thing we talk to our guys about is, especially early in the preseason, we get after it, 2.5, 3 hour practices. I think we went for maybe 13 days in a row to start the year. Really got after it, and the tank starts emptying. And it's our job as coaches, and our assistant coaches do a wonderful job of making sure that we're filling that tank back up so that we peak at the right time.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, it sounds like the team is going and playing just like you want them to. But the one thing I do know is that you're hoping that their very best baseball is yet to come. That'll come playoff time.
Yes, sir.
Nice to see you, and look forward to seeing you down the road.
Well, thank you for having me.
We're going to take a quick break. We come back. 4 young gentlemen, very instrumental in the fast start Vestavia's had this season. We'll be right back. Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And folks, welcome back. I'm visiting now with the Vestavia baseball players, and boy, they're off to a 15-1 start. Back when I was playing, that would have been a fantastic season, and they're not even halfway through yet. But the important thing is they are off to a great start. And you can see sitting next to me, Sonny Potter, a senior, and you're a pitcher, first baseman?
Yes, sir.
And are you already committed to Alabama?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations. Nate Dennis, a senior pitcher, right? Then Nathan Hospice, a senior, the catcher. And Parker Hershey, senior, you're an infielder, play a lot of positions, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Going into this season, Sonny, we'll start with you. Y'all had a pretty good season last year. So going into this season, talk about the objective for not only yourself, but for your teammates as well.
The objective going into it was just kind of see what we can do as a team, kind of grow. And we had a lot of pieces that could be put in and see where they could help come out this year. We had a lot of guys leave last year. But, I mean, the goal, obviously, from the point, I mean, all of us up here, whether you say it or not, want a ring. But, I mean, that's not always the main goal, but that's kind of what we want.
And Nate will continue that thought with you. Your team, one loss is all you've had all this season. One of the things, it takes two things to be the best you can be, not only as an individual, but as a team. And you guys have done a great job of it so far, but I want you to talk about its team chemistry. If the team has good chemistry, you'll be the best that you can be, individual and as a team. But if it's bad, it can cause some kind of problems. Sounds like y'all must have some pretty good chemistry.
Yes, sir, we do. Most of us have grown up together since we were really young. We know how to play together. Like I said, we've been together for most of our lives. Most of us are best friends. All of us here are, so that helps.
Okay, that's terrific. Now, Nathan, one thing that I would ask you, who do you and who have you and all of you guys are seniors, who have you looked forward to on that schedule playing more than anybody else?
Probably Hoover and Mountain Brook.
Really?
Yes,
And
sir.
yeah, now, one, I guess the main reason would be not only is there that quote-unquote natural rival between Vestavia and Hoover, but there's also a natural rival with Mountain Brook as well.
Yes, sir.
And I guarantee you both programs have outstanding football, basketball, baseball teams. So probably you grew up and know these guys fairly well, and nobody wants to get beat when they line up, do they?
Yes, sir.
Parker, how about you? I understand that you're what I would call a utility infielder. Well, that's a valuable person for the simple reason they can play more than one spot. How many positions do you play for the team?
I'm a middling kind of guy. I played a lot of second to start the year, and I've worked around short and back to second. So it really just depends on the day, the lineup, and I just work back and forth between those two.
Okay, well, I tell you what, guys, it's hard for me to try to find a place for y'all to improve on the field. Just keep doing what you do, okay? That's the important thing. But secondly here, I know what kind of athletes you are. You got to be not only a pretty good individual, but you're a great team together. I want to find out a little bit about you away from the diamond. And Sonny, we'll start with you because all you guys are seniors. One day, and I hope that maybe there's a professional baseball career down the road, but let's say it doesn't work out that way. If it couldn't be baseball, what do you hope to do one day? What kind of courses will you be taking at school?
Courses that are like math, I mean, just the main 4 courses. But, I mean, the goal, my dad's a lawyer, my brother's going to be a lawyer. So, I mean, maybe if that doesn't work out, then one day we'll see what happens in maybe law school.
Okay, well, so let me ask you this. Have you ever thought maybe one day you might end up being a high school baseball coach?
I mean, it's crossed your mind. I mean, you see what happens, but that wouldn't be the first choice for me, but I don't think I have the patience for that.
Well, you got to be put together a certain way, don't you? Nate, how about you? Right now, do you know where you may be going to school?
I'm probably going to Auburn. I'm not going to be a major league baseball
player. Well, let me
player.
tell you this. I will pray for you. No, that just means I'm an Alabama fan. Auburn's a great school, too. What kind of courses will you be taking?
I'm in pretty high-level courses right now. I'm hoping to be an oral surgeon. I know.
Really?
Yes, sir. I know Auburn has great pre-med, pre-dent programs.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's terrific. Nathan, how about you?
To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure, but I would like to do something where I can be outside and not cooped up in a desk all day. So
well, you know what? It takes all kinds to make up this kind of world. And I'm like you. I was outside in my career as well. And the main reason is I'd stay up late at night and I'd sleep at my desk. I said this inside job isn't for me, so I understand where you're coming from. Parker, how about you?
I plan to go to Auburn.
Okay.
And I'm planning on studying the engineering there.
Really? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Wow, all righty. Okay, now, the next thing that I would like to know is I know that you're outstanding baseball players and you're going to get a good education somewhere. Now, baseball players, athletes in particular, are notorious for either being superstitious or they may have an attribute away from baseball, they're good at something else. It could be you big old strapping guys here. It could be you could write poetry, example. Or maybe you sing like a professional singer in the shower, but when it goes off, boy, everything shuts down. Now, with that kind of thought in mind, you might like hunting and fishing. What is it about you guys that would surprise me a little bit if you told me what it was? We'll start with you, Sonny.
I don't know. I mean, let's see. Not many people know, but I'm a big baker. I like to bake, like sweets and stuff.
Well, I tell you what, I'd probably come and sample them because I love sweets.
Yeah, come on with it.
And then I'd let you know, boy, if this is good or bad. So,
Yes,
so you've been cooking a while?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, I just kind of do whatever. But I mean, if I see it online or something, I'll bake it and taste it.
Yeah, you don't have no problem throwing together some brownies and stuff like that,
Yes,
do you?
sir.
Well, that's
Yes,
terrific. Nate, how about you?
Like you said, I'm pretty superstitious. I wear long sleeves no matter what. If it's 90 degrees, I'll still wear them. And I'll wear my friend Sonny's. I'll wear his shades, wear sunglasses even if it's dark out every game.
Yeah. So you're the cool one, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well that's fine. Nathan, how about you?
Never really superstitions for me, but a lot of people don't know that I really enjoy playing video games. So
Really?
I spend a lot of my off time doing that.
So you could take one of your buddies to the hole with a video game and think you're going to come out.
Oh, yeah.
In other words, if he had $1 in his pocket, you'd have it when you left.
Very
Oh, well, that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, Parker.
I'm a pretty superstitious guy. I'll keep batting gloves in my back left pocket, even though I don't use them. I hit with my bare hands, and then every morning when I get out of the shower on game days, I'll put the same pants on. So.
Yeah, you're a superstitious guy, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that because if we don't do it, then we feel like we're not going to be the best we can be, right? Well, now all of you guys being seniors, and Sonny, I'll ask you, what would you tell a young guy, a young boy that maybe would come up to you and shake your hand or whatever and say, I wish I could play like you? What would you tell him? What has turned you on to baseball?
I mean, I just tell them that, I mean, you can do whatever you can do. Just the hard work determines where you're going to be, and that never stop dreaming, and just keep your goals set high and shoot for them.
How about you, Nate? What would you tell one?
Coach Harris tells us every day, pay attention to the small details. So as long as you pay attention to the small stuff in the game, then the big stuff will follow.
Nathan?
Pretty much the same thing as Sonny. I mean, whatever you put into it, you're going to get out of it. So I just say work hard and stay focused and just keep shooting for the stars.
How about you, Parker?
Work ethic's a big thing. You can put your mind to anything, but you got to work at it to get good. You'll get.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, y'all have been working at it pretty good. Of course, you've been together, like you said, a long time, and the chemistry and the knowing each other that well plays a lot to do with how good you can and can't be. Very last question I got to ask you, and get different answers, and always curious to this point in y'all's young lives. And Sonny, we'll start with you. Who's been the most inspirational person or persons?
Probably my brother, because he came up before me, played football and baseball throughout his entire career, and he's really pushed me hard to be the best I can be and kind of get up to his standard.
Okay, how about you, Nate?
Probably my dad. He's not a huge sports guy, but he's always willing to give me some encouragement. So.
Absolutely. Nathan?
Probably my dad as well. He was my little league coach all through the years, and he's always been there to push me and throws me in the backyard. So.
Okay, that's good. Parker?
I'd say both parents, because they both work, and whether one's working or the other's not, they gotta find out where I'm playing, and they'll come even if I'm not playing. So
Yeah, well, that's terrific. Our parents generally are always our biggest supporters. Well, guys, it's been nice meeting you. You've had a great season thus far, but your best baseball's got to still be ahead of you if you come away with a state title, all right? One thing I tell you this, you win a state title if y'all still in school, and we haven't shut down the show for the summer, we'll have you back. And celebrate a victory, okay? A state title. Folks, we've had another great show, 2 outstanding coaches. We've had about 8 outstanding young athletes here tonight, and so we look forward to the next time. Until we see you again, you know what the snapper always says, bicycle.